Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to defy the passage of time? What if your youthful glow wasn't just about good skincare or lucky genetics? What if your appearance was actually a spiritual signal, a divine preservation for a greater purpose? Let's talk about something you may have overlooked. There are moments in life when we look at ourselves, our personality, our features, the way we age, and assume it's all just a random mix of nature and nurture. We think, well, that's just how I turned out. But I want to challenge that idea today. Because what if there's nothing random about you at all? If you've ever had someone look at you and say, "You don't look your age," or if you've stared into the mirror, realizing that time seems to be moving slower on your face than others around you, know this. It's not just your skincare routine. It's not just your family genes. There's something much deeper going on. There's a spiritual reason behind it. You are being preserved. Not by accident, but by intention. There's a kind of invisible protection around you. One that no product, no doctor, no external force can give. It's not physical. It's spiritual. It's divine. It's as if God is gently whispering over your life. Not yet. I'm keeping this one renewed. Their purpose isn't fulfilled. You see, we often view youthfulness through a physical lens. Smooth skin, bright eyes, energetic movement. But spiritually, when someone appears younger than their years, it's a powerful sign. A sign of divine timing. A sign of divine purpose. You're not simply aging slower. You're being sustained deliberately for something greater than yourself. And when a person is called to live out a divine purpose in a world filled with chaos and fatigue, they need more than just motivation. They need stamina. They need spiritual energy. They need to endure. Sometimes that endurance shines through their posture, the sparkle in their eyes, the strength in their steps. It's not vanity, it's vitality. And it's there because the journey ahead still needs their presence, their voice, their light. So, what happens next when you begin to see this as more than coincidence? Let's go deeper. You remember how we talked about that youthful glow being more than skin deep, a sign that you're being preserved for something greater? Let's keep going because there's more to uncover. That vitality you carry, it's not just physical, it's spiritual. It's heaven's quiet reminder that you're still needed. You still have something important to complete. And because of that, you're being kept intentionally, purposefully. Let's face it, life has a way of wearing people down. Regret, bitterness, lingering trauma, they don't just live inside us, they show. You can see them in someone's tired eyes, in the way they walk, in the heaviness they carry. But when a person's spirit is in alignment, truly walking in forgiveness, rooted in love, and obedient to a divine path, there's a different energy, a lightness, a glow, a kind of quiet peace that radiates from within. That's what we call spiritual preservation. It's not just protection from what's happening around you. It's protection from what those things could have done to you. It's like heaven places a shield, not just over your body, but over your soul. Some of you might not even realize this has been happening in your life. Maybe you've wondered why people always guess you're a decade younger. Maybe you felt like time bends around you in ways you can't explain. That's not just a quirk. That's evidence. Your life is being protected on purpose. There's still a mission with your name on it. And God isn't going to let you walk through this world showing the scars of what you've endured. You walk through fire, but somehow you don't smell like smoke. You've weathered storms that could have broken you, but instead, you shine brighter. That's not luck. It's not a random blessing. That's divine covering. And while the enemy may whisper lies, that's too late, that you've wasted years, that your moment has passed. What if the truth is this? You've been kept all along, preserved not only in body, but in soul, in purpose, and in presence. And maybe, just maybe, that youthful energy you carry is a sign that your real assignment is only beginning. Let's keep going. What does this divine protection really mean for your journey ahead? So if that glow you carry is a sign that your assignment is just beginning, then what exactly have you been preserved for? You've been preserved for impact, for healing, and for testimony. This isn't about aesthetics or compliments. The world doesn't need more people who simply look young. It needs people whose youthfulness is a sign of inner strength. People who've been spiritually preserved to carry out something truly meaningful. And maybe, just maybe, that person is you. It's time to stop seeing your youthful appearance as something shallow or superficial. It's not just about good genes or external care. It's sacred. It's a visual reminder that you've been chosen. Chosen for purpose. Chosen to influence. Chosen to sow seeds into lives, to speak truth, to carry joy that uplifts others. Your looks? They aren't meant to inflate your ego. They're meant to remind you that there's still a field waiting for your hands to work in. There are still souls you're meant to reach. Still moments of joy and connection you're meant to bring into this world. This isn't about trying to hold on to time. It's about aligning with divine time. The pace set by something much greater than you. You're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where you need to be. That youthful glow, that's heaven's way of saying, keep going. I've got you. You were preserved because your purpose is active. You ever meet someone and feel an unexplainable peace around them? It's not their outfit, not their makeup, not even their smile. It's something far deeper. They walk into a room and carry a presence, a quiet, radiant energy. Joy lingers around them. Peace follows, and you realize it's not the surface you're drawn to. It's their spirit. They're not just young looking. They're spiritually alive. That vibrance, that light, it doesn't come from a serum or a supplement. It flows from within. It's the kind of youthfulness that can't be faked, bought, or bottled. It's cultivated in alignment with purpose, peace, and divine connection. Yes, we often chase physical ways to feel and look younger. Workouts, diets, skincare routines. And those things can help. But there's something deeper we need to talk about. Something far more lasting than any beauty product. Let's uncover that next. So yes, that glow radiating from within, it isn't bottled or bought. It's birthed from something far deeper than a wellness routine. The real fountain of youth? It lives inside your soul. When your spirit is aligned, when your heart finds peace, when you're walking in love and rooted in gratitude, your physical body follows. That light in your smile, that energy in your step, that softness in your eyes, it's not accidental. It's the physical expression of internal balance, of spiritual wholeness. Most people never talk about this. They don't see the connection between what's happening on the inside and how it manifests outwardly. But I want us to talk about it today, because you don't just look young by chance. You look young because something within you has stayed whole, even when life tried to fracture you. Let me tell you something real. Stress will age you faster than time ever could. Bitterness, unresolved anger, anxiety, and unforgiveness. These emotions don't just burden the mind. They weigh down the spirit. And when your spirit carries that heaviness for too long, your body begins to show it. Your facial muscles tighten. Your eyes lose their spark. Your shoulders slump under invisible weight. You begin to wear your pain without even knowing it. But when your spirit is free, when you've learned to let go of the pain, to forgive what hurt you, to walk in peace even when the storm hasn't passed, something changes. There's a lightness about you, a softness, a quiet strength. That lightness becomes a glow. And that glow, that's not cosmetic. That's spiritual. So many people don't realize this truth. Beauty is not just a feature of the body. It's a reflection of the soul's condition. There's a reason we say someone wears their emotions on their face. Because we do. If you're constantly anxious, resentful, restless, or stuck in old memories, those emotions begin to etch themselves into your features, into your very presence. But when healing starts within, something beautiful begins to shift on the outside too. So how do we nurture that inner harmony? The kind that radiates far beyond the surface? Let's explore that next. So if your face reflects your soul, then what happens when your soul is at peace? When you've been walking with joy, not just performing happiness, but truly carrying joy within, something shifts. When you intentionally guard your peace, when you've laid down the heavy burdens you were never meant to carry, your body listens. It responds, because your body is not just a vessel to get you through the day. It's a mirror, a direct reflection of what's unfolding in your inner life. Have you ever come across someone who's clearly been through difficult seasons, pain, loss, heartbreak, yet they still carry this calm, this freshness, this quiet youthfulness? That's not luck. That's not denial. That's someone who's chosen healing. Someone who's refused to let bitterness make a home in their heart. Someone who wakes up day after day and chooses gratitude. Not because life is always easy, but because they know that gratitude transforms how life feels. And let me tell you, gratitude can take years off your appearance. Joy has the power to erase stress marks. Forgiveness can soften the harshest lines. And peace will light up your face like sunlight hitting glass. I believe that many people who look younger than their age have tapped into this deeper truth. The condition of your soul matters more than the condition of your skin. When your soul is clean, your face appears clearer. When your heart is light, your eyes shine brighter. And when you're living from a place of inner wholeness, you radiate, and you don't even have to try. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about covering up pain with a fake smile. No, it's about choosing peace, especially when it would be easier to stay angry, resentful, or stuck. It's about saying, I'm not giving this world permission to take my joy. It's the quiet declaration. This situation won't steal my peace. I refuse to let unforgiveness tie me to a moment that has already passed. That's how you stay young. That's how you remain both spiritually and physically vibrant. But what does it really take to live like this consistently, to carry that glow through every season? Let's uncover that in the next part. So if choosing peace, joy, and forgiveness helps keep your spirit young and your body vibrant, what should you make of the compliments people give you? If someone has ever told you, you don't look your age, or you've got this glow about you, don't brush it off as just polite words. That's not just a compliment. That's a confirmation. It's evidence of something deeper at work within you. That glow they're noticing, that's the fruit of the peace you've fought to protect. That radiance? It's the result of the healing you've opened your heart to. It's the visible reward of choosing joy, not once, but over and over again, even on the hard days. Because when your spirit is calm, your body can finally rest. And when your soul is filled with light, that light spills out into your expressions, your eyes, your presence. You're not just glowing, you're reflecting the health of your inner world. These days, you hear a lot of talk about energy, frequency, alignment. And sure, some people may label that as just trendy or new age. But let's be honest, isn't there something deeply spiritual about all of it? Everything in creation, from the hum of music to the dance of light, flows with rhythm, with frequency. Even your heartbeat, that steady drum inside your chest, operates with divine rhythm. You, too, were made with energy infused by the breath of God Himself. And the frequency you live on, it impacts far more than your mood. It shapes how you look, how you age, and how you carry your years. Have you ever seen someone who isn't very old, but they seem exhausted in every way? Their body may be young, but their energy is weary. It shows in how they stand, how they speak, how they simply exist in the world. Why? Because their spirit is vibrating at a low frequency. Years of fear, bitterness, anxiety, and emotional turmoil, those things weigh down more than your mind. They begin to pull on your body, and eventually, it shows. But here's the real question. How can we begin to shift that frequency? How do we raise the energy we live and so our spirit and body can reflect life again? Let's talk about that next. So if living at a low frequency weighs you down, what happens when you raise your inner vibration? When you begin to live in spiritual alignment? There are people, and maybe you're one of them, who seem to lift the atmosphere just by walking into a room. They don't need to say much. Their presence alone brings light. They laugh freely, forgive easily, speak life generously, and carry a calm joy that lingers even after they've gone. That kind of energy, it's spiritual. That kind of impact doesn't come from simply thinking positive thoughts or repeating affirmations. It comes from living in alignment, heart, mind, and soul, with something higher than yourself. When you're walking in love, extending compassion, releasing judgment, and choosing forgiveness over resentment, you're living on a higher frequency. And that frequency isn't just about emotional well-being. It's about spiritual resonance. Your inner world vibrating in harmony with who you were created to be. And here's the miraculous part. When you live like that consistently, it doesn't just affect your mood or mindset, it manifests in your body. It keeps your posture lifted, your eyes bright, your skin glowing. It keeps you light, not just in emotion, but in your entire being. That's why some people seem to look and feel younger than their age. They're not weighed down by unnecessary spiritual burdens. Have you ever noticed that people who live with real joy don't just smile more? They radiate something deeper. That's because joy is one of the highest frequencies a human being can carry. And no, it's not about forcing yourself to be happy all the time. It's about choosing joy, especially in moments when bitterness or disappointment would be easier. It's about keeping your heart open to love, even when life tries to harden you. That choice, that daily spiritual discipline, affects more than just your mood. It reaches into your biology. It influences your cells, your hormones, even your immune system. Science might explain it through endorphins, dopamine, or serotonin. And that's true. But there's something deeper happening too. I believe it's divine flow. God's grace flowing through your being, renewing you from the inside out. That's heaven keeping you fresh. That's divine protection showing up in your glow. So what happens when you intentionally cultivate that kind of spiritual rhythm day by day? Let's discover that next. So if divine flow and spiritual alignment can renew you from within, does that mean life always stays peaceful and perfect? Of course not. I'm not saying life won't try to knock you out of that alignment, because it will, and it does. We all face those days. Moments when we get pulled down by negativity, overwhelmed by stress, or trapped in frustration. No one is immune. But the difference is this: don't stay there. Don't build a home in that space. Don't unpack your bags in the valley of bitterness or fear. Instead, return. Come back to the frequency of faith. Return to the vibration of hope. Speak truth over your life, even when your feelings try to shout otherwise. Breathe in grace. Exhale tension. The longer you remain in alignment, the more your spirit sustains your body. Instead of your body trying to hold up your spirit. Because looking younger than your age, it's not just about skincare routines or good lighting. It's about the daily maintenance of the soul. When your inner world is tuned to love, when your thoughts are grounded in gratitude, when your actions flow from purpose rather than pressure, your entire being responds in kind. You begin to reflect someone who isn't merely surviving, but thriving. You don't live from the outside in, letting circumstances shape your spirit. You live from the inside out, allowing your spirit to shape how you move through the world. Yes, aging is natural, but the way we age, the way we carry time, that's spiritual. There's a powerful difference between growing older and growing heavier. If your spirit stays light, your face will show it. If your heart stays full, your eyes will sparkle. When you vibrate in harmony with grace, mercy, and love, you don't just appear younger. You become a living testimony, a reminder that heaven still flows through human vessels. So when people look at you with curiosity and ask, how do you do it? How do you stay so vibrant, so fresh, so light? What will you say? Let's answer that next. So when someone looks at you and says, how do you stay so vibrant? You don't need to overthink the answer. Just smile and tell them the truth. I'm just living in alignment. See, there's something I've come to understand over the years, something that isn't often talked about, but becomes clearer the more life you've lived. After walking through different seasons, facing hardships, experiencing grace, you begin to see a deeper layer of truth. And it's this. Some of the blessings you carry didn't start with you. Some of the favor on your life, the kind that makes you glow, that protects you from unseen danger, that keeps your spirit young and your body full of light, didn't begin with your own prayers. It began with someone else's. It may be that you're walking in divine favor today because you're standing beneath the covering of ancestral blessings, seeds sown long before you were born. Not every battle you've avoided was dodged by instinct or wisdom. Not every moment of peace you experience is the result of your own choices. Sometimes, it's the fruit of a grandmother's quiet midnight prayer. Sometimes, it's a great-grandfather's obedience, his unshaken faith, or the spiritual legacy of someone you never met, but whose walk with God planted seeds they never lived to see bloom. And now, you're walking in the harvest they left behind. That's why divine favor doesn't always seem logical. That's why people look at your life, your peace, your glow, your resilience, and ask, how are you still standing? They can't see what's been carrying you. But deep down, you know that you've been covered by something you didn't even see coming. There were moments that should have shattered you, seasons that should have drained your strength, but instead, something held you together. And maybe you're wondering now, what do I do with this inheritance of grace? How do I carry it forward? Let's reflect on that next. So if you've been covered by prayers you didn't even know were spoken, what does that say about the way you've made it through? There were seasons when, by all natural logic, you should have looked like the battles you were fighting. You should have carried the wear and tear of the stress, the grief, the exhaustion. But somehow you didn't. Somehow, you emerged looking refreshed, renewed, as if grace had wiped the evidence clean. That's not just good genetics. That's not just a lucky break. That's divine grace, handed down like an invisible inheritance, a favor passed through bloodlines and whispered in prayers. It's the kind of blessing that outlives the very person who first called it down. I believe spiritual inheritances are just as real as material ones. You may not find them written in a will or stored in a vault, but they're there, and they're powerful. They show up in the peace that holds you steady when everything else is shaking. They appear in the resilience that rises even when you're tired of trying. They pulse through the joy that bubbles up when everything around you says you should be bitter. That's inheritance. That's legacy. That's favor, and it runs deeper than skin. Sometimes, the reason you look younger than your age, the reason your spirit feels lighter than the heaviness you've carried, is because your life has been placed under a covenant. Your soul has been marked with spiritual protection. Your path has been divinely preserved, not only in the direction you're going, but in the way you walk through it. People may not understand it. They might not see the full picture, and that's okay. Favor doesn't always come with an explanation, and it doesn't need one, because when God puts a shield around your life, when He chooses to honor the prayers of those who came before you, He will preserve you in ways even time cannot undo. Now, maybe you're listening and thinking, but what if I don't come from that kind of family? What if I come from brokenness, from pain, from a past filled with darkness instead of light? Let's talk about that right now. So maybe you didn't come from a lineage of light. but you chose to walk toward it. And that choice, it changes everything. Even then, especially then, when you decide to break the old patterns, to step out of cycles of pain, fear, or dysfunction, and walk with God, you begin writing a new chapter. You don't just rewrite your own story. You begin crafting a new legacy. And with that legacy comes a new kind of favor. One that didn't exist in your family line until you chose it. Because when you make the decision to live differently, to walk in truth, to pursue purpose, to align yourself with heaven, God notices. And He doesn't just bless you in isolation. He blesses everything connected to you. Your children, your children's children, generations you may never meet. You become the starting point of a harvest that outlives you. And chances are the fruit of that shift is already showing. It might be in your energy, how you still move with purpose and strength. It might be in your spirit, that calm, unwavering peace that draws others in. It might even be in how people look at you and say, there's just something about you. Because where they expect weariness, they see light. You're not just someone who's aging well. You're someone walking in spiritual inheritance. Every time someone compliments your presence, your glow, your grace, they're witnessing the overflow of something divine at work in you. And no, it's not about appearances. It never has been. It's about alignment. It's about covering. It's about a kind of favor that human logic can't explain, because it comes from heaven's design. And maybe, just maybe, you are the one chosen to carry that favor forward, to become the person who begins the blessing for others to walk in after you. If you've ever wondered why you still shine, still move with youthful energy, still radiate peace, just know this didn't start with you. And it doesn't end with you either. You have been chosen. You have been covered. You have been called. And whether you realize it or not, your life is a living message. Every day that you wake up looking younger than your age, walking with strength, and carrying that unmistakable light in your eyes, you're saying something to the world without ever needing to speak. But what exactly is that message? Let's put it into words. In our final part, so if your life is a living message, a testimony that speaks without words, what exactly is it saying? You are a walking, breathing message, a spiritual signal in motion. And that message is this: it's possible, truly possible, to live in a way that defies the weight and wear of time. It's possible to carry peace in a world addicted to chaos. It's possible to age in body, but stay young in spirit. You're the living proof that tending to your soul, nurturing your inner life, is just as essential, if not even more, than taking care of your body. Because when someone looks at you and says, wait, there's no way you're that age, they're not just reacting to your skin or your smile. They're seeing something deeper. They're witnessing the physical evidence of a spiritual life well tended. You're not just defying years. You're defying the damage that comes with misalignment. You're defying the effects of carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. You're shedding the weight of unresolved anger and unhealed pain, and it's showing. Because for years, in small moments and big decisions, you've chosen differently. You've protected your peace. You've fed your joy. You've nourished your soul. And now, that spiritual investment is manifesting in your physical reality. And here's something powerful to remember. Some of you don't just look younger for your own sake. You look younger to inspire someone else. You are a quiet sermon in motion, a reminder without shouting, without forcing, without needing applause. You don't have to speak loudly for the message to be heard. The way you move through the world, with grace, with ease, with light still shining from eyes that have seen darkness, that alone speaks volumes. You're showing another way to live, a way that resists bitterness, a way that chooses joy over resentment, a way that forgives, releases, breathes, and trusts, a way that stays open to light, even after walking through shadows. And maybe, just maybe, you're not done speaking yet. So if your life is already speaking silently, powerfully, then what is it showing others? Whether you realize it or not, people are watching you. Not in a critical way, but with quiet curiosity. They notice the way you carry yourself, the effortless calm, the smile that doesn't feel forced, the peace that fills the room before you even say a word. And for some of them, this is their first glimpse at someone who isn't just getting by, but truly living. That kind of presence, it's rare. That kind of witness, it's powerful. And that's why your youthful appearance, the glow in your eyes, the lightness in your step, isn't just a personal blessing. It's a spiritual responsibility, not a burden, not something heavy to carry, but a calling. Because when others see you walking in peace, walking in wholeness, they begin to believe something different about what's possible. Not just for you, but for them too. You don't need to preach a sermon. Your life already is one. You don't have to convince people with words. Your presence tells the story. And that story is saying, you don't have to live worn out. You don't have to be buried under years of regret. You don't have to let your past define the way you carry your future. You could be renewed. You can be refreshed. You could be light again. That's the beauty of walking in spiritual alignment. It restores what life tried to take. It brings back what hardship tried to erase. And here's the beautiful truth. People will see that in you long before they ever hear your full testimony. Sometimes, your glow is the first chapter of your story they'll read. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every day will be easy. I'm not pretending that you won't feel the weight of life press in sometimes. But what I'm saying is this. Your choice to keep your spirit whole, to guard your peace, to treat joy like something sacred, it matters. It matters more than you may know. And in the next part, let's talk about what that kind of intentional living continues to unlock in you. So when you choose to protect your peace, guard your joy, and live in alignment, what happens? People notice, even if they don't fully understand what they're seeing. That's what keeps you looking and feeling the way you do. That's what makes people pause mid-conversation and ask, what's your secret? And when they ask, you don't need to offer a complex or mystical explanation. Just speak the truth, simply and honestly. You've made a decision to live differently, to let your spirit lead, rather than being driven by chaos or pressure. And when your soul is in alignment, everything else begins to fall into place. Because that's how the kingdom works. When the inside is whole, the outside begins to reflect it. When your soul is rooted and rested, your body responds with clarity, vitality, and calm. And slowly, without fanfare, you've become something more than just a person. You become a message that says, God still renews. A message that says, peace still works. A message that reminds the world. There's a kind of beauty that no cream, no filter, no cosmetic procedure can create, because it comes from within. So the next time someone compliments your youthful glow or tells you, you don't look your age, just smile. Because in that moment, they're not just noticing your skin, they're recognizing your spirit. They're not just complimenting your appearance, they're confirming your calling. You're not just aging well, you're living as a testimony, wishing you strength, peace, and a heart full of joy as you keep walking in alignment. And don't forget, if this message spoke to you, make sure to subscribe to Mindset Daily for more content that uplifts your soul and fuels your purpose. See you in the next video.